wanted to share with you a couple of features that I really like, sort of the Easter egg type things. And I also wanted to share with you a couple of things that I'm not so keen on in the car that I think are worth talking about for a couple of minutes. Now it's nighttime, so you're going to see the night mode of the Tesla's screen. This is one of the places where you can find some of the Easter eggs in here, and you actually get to it by hitting the Tesla tag right there, and it brings up the information, and then it opens up and it gives you this this little thing. So there's a couple of fun things in here. So I put the car in park. I should have access to all of them. There we go. I wasn't in park. I was just in hold. But as I look through it, there's a couple of things that I can do here. So one of the things is the roaring fire. So if we tap on that one, we can see the roaring fire that comes up here. And I heard the radio for a second there. So it's a roaring fire, and I can warm my hands. And it actually does blow warm air out of the vents. And that's kind of funny, kind of clever the way they do that. It's very cute how they do that. So that's one feature they have in there. I can go back here again and show you what that's all about. The next thing is the arcade. The arcade is actually kind of fun. There's several different games in here. 2048 is fast becoming one of my favorite games, but there's a number of different arcade games that they put in here. The chess one is actually it's the newest one, and that one's kind of fun. But personally, my favorite is 2048. I know it's just kind of silly. All you're doing is just trying to match up numbers on the screen to get to the highest number you can. And I'm in the middle of a game here. It always remembers the game you were in, and you just keep moving the parts around until you get your matches, and hopefully you don't run out of moves at some point. As I'm about to, game's over. So I can start a new game. But I really like this one. This one's fun. When I'm sitting and just waiting for somebody, I play this a lot. Once in a while I will play chess. Racing Buggy's kind of a fun game that they put in here. And you can use the steering wheel, on the driver's side, you can use the steering wheel to actually steer it. You can actually use a controller. They do some controllers that you can connect up, so you can use a controller if you wanted to. Or you can touch the screen. So as I go one player, I select my person, and I continue, and he gets in the car, and we're ready to go. I'll just do chill. That's fine. Doesn't matter. I'm just gonna go for a little ride here, and it's just fun. You know, you're just doing it. You can use the steering wheel, or you can use this. It doesn't matter either way. So I can move, and I went in the water. Oh no! So kind of a fun game, and then. As we look at this, we're in night mode, right? So now we can see what it looks like in night mode. Oh, this is what the screen looks like. It just turns everything to black so it's not a bright white in your eyes as you're driving. Again, let's look at a couple of the other fun little Easter eggs that are in here. This one puts you on Mars. So you're the Mars rover, and you're on Mars. Just kind of a funny thing they do. We'll go back to the Tesla mode again. Then we have one of my favorites. This is the one that's just goofy that they put in here, that these are the engineers just doing this. It's you can do fart on demand, or you can do fart on your turn signal. So fart on demand, if I hit the controller, let me put a little light on this here. If I just hit the controller here, it just puts a fart out in that location. You can't do the location sensing while you're listening to me here, but it was putting it in that back right corner, and I can adjust it to somewhere else. And of course I can do it just like that too. And because it's on the turn signals, when I turn on my turn signal, it farts too. That's just goofy stuff, you know, that the Tesla engineers came up with. Makes it kind of fun, and you know, one of those fun things that you do. Those are some of the major Easter eggs that are here. There are some other ones, like for example, I actually changed my phone. I've told you this before, to a Hoi Hoi. Just because that was the original way that Alexander Graham Bell anticipated people would answer the phone. So that kind of thing, you know, some fun things like that. Now I'd like to show you the one thing, the basic thing that annoys me the most. So if I go over here to my radio, here's my radio, and it's set up to show me the radio there. And I can minimize it to look like this, or I can maximize it to look like that. And as I go through, I can see all the stations that are available. But what you notice here is, when I'm going through this, they have all the HD channels because it's got an HD tuner in it. You don't always know what they are. Most of the times you don't know what they are. I never had an HD radio before, so I don't know where they are, what any of these stations are. So I have to just sit there and listen to them and, oh, that's the station I want. The other side is, this car doesn't have an AM radio. And that was a decision they made along the way, to not have an AM radio, and instead just do FM and HD radio. And the reason there's no AM radio is because, I believe, the interference from the motor, when the coils on the motor are turning, it would actually cause interference and you wouldn't get the AM signal. So there's no point in putting it in. Now, most of the AM radio stations are repeated on an HD channel. So no problem, I can get most of my AM stations that way. I happen to be a little bit of a geek when it comes to sports talk once in a while. I listen to a little bit of it here and there. Some of the shows amuse me, so I listen to a little bit of it. So I miss my AM radio. One of the stations here is on and off the air all the time on the HD side, so sometimes I get it and sometimes I don't, which is kind of dumb. So that's just kind of silly the way that works. But what really irks me about this is, as I put together my stations, here they are. These are my favorites. So basically, to select a favorite, all you have to do is you tap on it, you hit the star up there. Oops, hit the star up there, and that'll make it up. If I go back, let's see if I can find one here. I'll just pick one of my stations that's starred. That one's starred. That one should be starred right there. So it's starred, right? So that's one of my favorites. So all I have to do is just go through and tap them as my favorite, and you're good. That's all you have to do. So you come down to your little mini window player here, and you see your stations. And there's no indication what any of them are. You can't change any of the names here. So Tesla, if you're listening, I'd like to be able to change the names. You also can't rearrange them. There's nothing you can do to like tap and hold. You can delete them. Oh wait, maybe they changed that? No, they didn't. Okay. You can delete them, but you can't rearrange them. So the order is whatever you added them in. So this is the newest one that you added over here, and that's the oldest one that you added on that end. Which is just fine, I guess. But because I'd like to group them together, I have to like keep adding and deleting them to do that. And then I don't know what they are until I tap on it and I see what the name comes up as. Eventually it will come up and tell me what it is. Oh, okay, so now it's going to come up and tell me that this is one of the sports talk stations, right? So I can listen to it that way. Great, but how do I know that when I'm looking at it, and what's the order on these things? It's a minor nuisance, but it is kind of annoying because once in a while I like to listen to the radio, and you know, if I want to pick a station, I have trouble figuring out what's what. You know, and if it's an HD2 channel or HD3 channel, it's something else other anyway, so it's impossible to know what they are. You might be used to the local stations, but you don't know what those are. So it's kind of ridiculous sometimes. And that's just one of those little pet peeves that annoys me. Of course, you can just skip it all and connect your phone and then use the media from your phone and listen to podcasts or any other streaming service you want. Now, on the Tesla itself, it does come with one streaming service for music. So if you get I think it starts with the standard range plus. I think it's one of the features they take away when you get just the standard range. But if you use the plus, you get streaming music in here. So you can use the streaming music. And the way they get that is they have some LTE service that they give you. Now you can't use it for anything else in the car. You can only use it for using your maps and for them to do the software updates. That's it. But you're still better off connecting to your home network if in fact you're going to do the software update. So when I drive my car in the garage, I connect to my Wi-Fi at home, and it's just another device that's on my Wi-Fi network, and I can download things that way. So the LTE connection is only useful for that. There's really no other use for it. You can't connect to it. You can't use it for anything, and it is only LTE anyway. Not a huge deal, but just something to be aware of with the car itself and the way it works. So that's kind of my take on all of this stuff. The way the music works and the way the car works and all of those things, all very good stuff, but I just don't like the way the radio works. I'm not a fan of the whole radio system the way they've set it up. I can of course do some things here with the changing the balance and the tone, setting the balance in the car where I want to have it, and I believe I can still have immersive sound even though I wasn't supposed to have it on the standard range as opposed to the standard range plus, but I do still have it, and I can allow for mobile control over my music, over my audio settings, and that's through the app. I can actually connect to it and do some things in the app too. So kind of nice to be able to do some of those things. I do like it mostly as far as that stuff goes. The sound quality is really good. It's just annoying sometimes that I can't do what I want to do that way, and I have to kind of work around it a little bit in terms of figuring out what station is which. I don't know which these are. I don't know what these call signs are. I couldn't tell you what station is which. For a car with this kind of technology, it's amazing to me that you can't just edit these and make them something your own and make it worthwhile. So that's my pet peeve. Like I said, not a huge deal, but it is something that just kind of generally annoys me. You know, it's one of those things that I would really like to change and take away. So now I should be back. This should be my normal map here. It reset to a far out view at night. You can see I'm here in Florida. There's Florida. It's just turned funny, so we can turn the map back and make it look a little more reasonable. There we go. So that's a little bit more like what I would expect the map to be. And at nighttime, the map looks like that. That's just kind of how it works out. So anyway, that's kind of how this works. I really do. It really is pretty good. It's just annoying the way that works. Now, I have heard that there are more Easter eggs that people haven't found, that there's 20, 30, 50, I don't know, some large number of Easter eggs that are buried within the system that no one has found yet. So I'll have to keep playing with it and see what else I can find, because I really do look forward to finding more of these Easter eggs. They're kind of fun to find. These are the easy ones, the ones that are right there under the Tesla symbol, but there are some other ones that are hidden away that I want to find somewhere. So as I find them, I'll share them with you.